Weapon Wing by Farron. Chapter 9. Conjunction. Brother Marble yawned and glanced at his fellow sufferer, Sister Bertha. He felt his hopes rising as the griffin turned her head, staring intently into the gray shadows of the valley below. He reached out and headed to the female. You see anything, sister?
Yeah, nothing.
Sister Bertha fluttered her wings, distressed at the sky's limbs, and struggling to control a yawn of her own. Fervor for the Brotherhood of the Snake could only take one so far. She and the Earth Pony had been on watch since sundown, clinging to the lowly paths of rock on a crag above the Temple of Shadow. Stray song, Sister Bertha, the Earth Pony whispered encouragingly. Only another hour or two. Bertha yawned again. By Aspen Viper, didn't Marble ever give it a rest? Of course, the Earth Pony was a relatively recent comfort to the extra zeal was to be expected, but there were limits. Lacey hadn't repeated his earlier thought-out request to use her crossbow, so that way he could smite the unbelievers. Sanity had prevailed, and the weapon remained firmly in the claws of the cultist, who could actually aim the crossbow and pull the trigger at the same time. Straining to see through the gloom of the pre-dawn hours, Bertha turned her eyes again to the approach leading up to the temple. Things had certainly gotten stricter since Brother Starfire had returned, unfortunately. Only a few days before, Sister Bertha would have been nice and warm in her bed this time of day, instead of out in the hills watching for any signs of any pony stupid enough to. Bertha's resentful thoughts screeched to a halt as a shadow shifted on the rugged trace leading through his cultist's temple. Was it a trick of the light? The griffin peered closer and reached out to shake her fellow guard out of dreams, sunning himself in the glory of the old ones.
Hey, Marble! Brother Marble! Look at this! Somebody's coming!
It wasn't a trick of the light. Some pony was indeed coming. The dark blots climbed ever closer, resolving itself into the shape of a unicorn stallion. The exhausted pony's head dropped as he struggled to put one hoof in front of the other. It probably wouldn't have realized he was being watched, even if the cultists had been standing up and shouting, instead of lying partially hidden among the rocky outcroppings of the ridge. Brother Marble joined the griffin in staring down at the path. Bertha could hear his breath quicken as he spied the approaching pony. The young stallion fumbled for the warning whistle at the neck of his quivered. Intruder, sister! Quick! Smite him while I call for our brothers! Bertha pressed a claw to her beak inside.
Hold it, Brother Marble. Stay still and wait a minute. Think of Brother King. That's one diamond dog I know even you don't want to anger. How do you think Brother King will react if we wake him up over one lousy unbeliever who might not even come this far up the trail?
Then, like the clever asp, we shall wait for our moment to strike, Sister Bertha, Marble quoted, pleased at the chance to show off his knowledge for the simpler scratchers.
Yeah, like that,
Bertha agreed. Right, wits, and particularly as he restrained himself from smacking the younger cultist across the snout. It should have been a sin the way he made the Holy Writ sound ridiculous with his goofy voice and almost annoying enthusiasm. She crouched down and dragged Marble with her until the two were completely hidden on the slope. Sister Bertha waited for the unicorn to turn back. What kind of folk came willingly on hoof into the territory belonging to the cult? Perhaps he was a would-be initiate? Griffin hesitated, but finally clacked her beat in irritation and hefted the crossbow. Better safe than sorry, especially with Reese's friends fresh in everybody's mind. Rising from her hiding place, she took aim. A deafening crack split the air. Then Sister Bertha squeezed the trigger. A long, thin tentacle wrapped around the crossbow and jerked. The weapon slewed to the side, sending bolts zipping off into the shadows of the valley, instead of thundering into the flesh of the unsuspecting unicorn. The griffin gasped as the crossbow flew out of her claws and clattered to the ground. Time seemed to slow as the assigned cultist looked up in time to see the leather tentacle coiling as Indiana Jones retrieved his bullwhip with the flick of his wrist. The archaeologist nodded to the guards. Hello! Before Bertha and Marble could respond, several Charles' feline allies landed on the cultists' backs and bore them back to the ground. His sharp teeth and powerful jaws made short work of the would-be sentries. Indiana hurried up to the makeshift guard post, voicing disapproval. Hey, wait! We were going to question one, remember? Damn! Dr. Jones winced at the bloody results of the big cat's kills. He wouldn't be getting any information out of these cultists. They were already communing with their snake gods, or whatever it was they worshipped. When a panting silver trowel finished his laborious story out of the path and reached Indy into two cats, he yelled and collapsed. I trust my destruction was adequate. Yeah, worked like a charm. But remind your friends that we need at least one cultist alive and be able to talk if we meet any more. I don't like going in blind, Indiana complained. Trowel sagged and gasped out an apology with what little breath he managed to get back after the most recent leg of his ascent. Don't be sorry. Don't kill is an easy concept for them to understand, I think. Indiana leaned against the boulder and breathed slowly, savoring what would probably be his last chance to rest before entering the snake's cult stronghold. The small party around him was definitely worse for wear. Several Trowel looked half dead, and even the tiger and panther accompanying them seemed somewhat less tempered than when they had started. It made sense, of course. The Griffin had been hiking for the better part of the night, with only momentary breaks. Eyeing his companions again to see how they were recovering from the forced march, Indy sifted uneasily. It wasn't simply that they were large predators, with all the appearance and intelligence of a human. Something seemed fundamentally off about the big cats, even beyond the obvious concerns raised by the too convenient appearance of muscle just as it was needed. The villain's presence was ruffling the feathers he apparently didn't have. Everyone ready? Indiana asked, glancing at his allies. The archaeologist rubbed his head. He was beginning more tired than he thought. He was even starting to talk like these ponies. People, whatever. The cats, of course, did not respond. Silvertrow nodded and pushed himself doggedly to his host. Swaying for a moment, the unicorn cleared his throat and smiled wanly. All right, Dr. Jones. Again, I'm terribly sorry for losing that stone-walking habit of mine. I know it would be easier to just walk in. Too late now. You did a great job of keeping us from dying going over that waterfall, Dr. Trowell. You don't need to apologize to me. Indiana replied, waving a hand dismissively. Really, it would have been nice to not have to fight his way through for once, but it was more surprising that anything survived the trip of the Flying Falls. Come on, then, let's go. Soon the dark gray facade of the Temple of Shadow loomed over the rescue party. It was only just dawn, but the dark stones of the temple seemed to drink up what little light was splintering over the ridgeline. Two stone griffins snarled mutely from their perches on either side of the heavy wooden gates. Somehow, Indiana remembered the doors being taller. Had he ever seen them before now? The archaeologist wasn't even sure anymore. Save for the pale yellow light of the morning, the scene seemed disturbingly familiar. Indiana started up the steps, eyes fixed on the slightly ajar gates to the darkness of the Temple of Shadow. He drew his pistol, holding it cautiously before him as he edged up to the door. Indy glanced back at his companions. The tiger watched his progress with boredom in his all too intelligent eyes. The feline paused to wash one paw with a long tongue, leaving up crimson flakes of blood off of Orin's fur. All right, Dr. Trowell, tell the cats to go in and quick and scout the room, Indiana ordered. I'll leave the rest at least one alive this time.
Based on previous performance, Indiana, I think you may want to go in and get the cultists yourself.
Silvertrow said with a nod towards the big cats and still bloody paws. The hairs were rising on the back of Dr. Jones's neck, but time was of the essence. He pinched the bridge of his nose and sighed. Fine. You three come in right behind me. We're going to do this fast. If we're lucky, we'll be in and out before the cultists even know we're here. Not waiting for a response, Indiana Jones darted through the slightly open door. Immediately, he knew he made a mistake when the door slammed shut behind him. A heart-stopping boom! Damn it! The archaeologist whirred and tugged at the heavy ring of the handle. But the door stubbornly resisted his efforts.
Good morning,
called a reedy voice, and he had turned to see the genuine smile on Starfire's muzzle. The Pegasus were suspended in vibrant green robes and stood in the middle of a half-ring of cultists. There were diamond dogs, earth, unicorn, Pegasus ponies, even a smattering of griffins. All were garbed in green robes. More importantly, everything capable of doing so was holding a loaded crossbow. The archaeologist slowly raised his hand, ready to let his pistol drop.
Good morning,
Starfire repeated again, trying slowly forward with his eyes locked on Indy's. Yeah, morning. Indiana agreed. It was a trap. He walked right into it like the idiot he was. Now the Pegasus was going to bow to Indiana. Sweeping his wings in a cape-like forest, Indiana dipped his head and murmured,
You do honor us with your presence, my lord. You're taking me to Germany? When? Asked Daring Do. She tested her bonds again. Even on a good day, it would have been hard for the Pegasus to break out of her current restraints. After days of steady action and her recent not-too-soft landing, she was definitely not at her best. Right. As soon as the next aircraft arrives, Fräulein Do, it should be about a day. Then you and your other prize can come back together with us. Yes, Jägermeister replied with a satisfied grin. The Nazi agent patted one pocket of his coat meaningfully, pleased at the heavy weight of the medallion contained within. For this, he would get the Knight's Cross of Oak Leaves, and much, much more. I think this a little soon for my last plane ride. Daring to wince as an incautious movement sent a serrated knife of pain dragging through across her nerve endings. Do not worry, little pony. I will be there for you. Almost tenderly, Hans stroked his prisoner's mane, and relished the way she squirmed under his grip. Oh my God, you're an evil furry! She was just like an unruly puppy, now that she had been defanged with a sturdy rope and deft knot tying. Trussed up like an oddly shaped fowl, Daring Do was finally in one place long enough for the German to appreciate the adorable little creature lifting in her miniature pith helmet and green cotton shirt. I think she managed to do such damage. Now she reminded the Nazi agent of one of his sister's dolls. He remembered how he set the toy alight in front of her for a laugh. Ah, good times, good times. Daring Do thought quickly, powering through the lingering ache behind her eyes. If she didn't find some way to escape soon, she was probably doomed. She wasn't going to get the Nazi to simply release her. But maybe there was another way. Her gaze followed the German's hand as the Jägermeister patted his pocket again, an almost unconscious movement. That must be where he was keeping the Medallion of Light. This might be her only option. The artifact. What do you want? You don't know. You mean you are just helping Herr Brooks out of the goodness of your heart? Of course, Daring knew why the Nazis were looking for the medallion, as he still writhed a bit mentally at the sensation of the alien memories in her head. Hopefully this will work, though. Well, you didn't give me a lot of time to ask questions, Hans. Fascinating. Well, good. This gives us something to talk about on the long plane ride, yeah? The German nodded with max satisfaction, as the topics of the conversation he used when chatting with his prisoner had been actually a concern. Do you actually know how to use the Medallion of Light, Jägermeister? Or you're just hoping that your little goose-stepping pals back in the fatherland will be able to figure it out? The mayor snapped. Daring crossed her eyes to stare at her muzzle. Goose-stepping? Fatherland? What the heck do those even mean? Fortunately, the unfamiliar words seemed to have the desired effect. I am certain that we do not need the help of a little pony to discover the powers of the weapon, to help the Reich to reign supreme. The Nazi snapped, suddenly petulant as he contemplated the probable long delay between his return to Germany and the actual success that would follow the artifact's use. More importantly, the probable long delay behind Hans's theoretical triumph and the glory realization of the same. He glanced down at Daring suspiciously. Sure, but wouldn't it be easier if I just told you how to use it? You need both halves, you know, Daring said, inventing desperately as she talked. How would you know? Hans trailed off, as the obvious occurred to him. How could the Pegasus not know? After all, nothing like her existed on Earth outside of ancient myths. Jägermeister remembered the way Daring Do had appeared suddenly in a bright flash, the medallion clenched between her teeth. That's right, I used the artifacts to come here, Hans. How would you like to not fly to Berlin? How would you like to appear there? Afraid the humor's odd, flat faces was getting easier. Daring to try not to think about whether this was due to several days' experience with them, or due to the ever-increasing memories of them that are being sucked to their head by unknown forces. Didn't matter. She was getting through to the man regardless. A grin broke slowly across the Nazi's face as he imagined the glory that would be his. It was perfect, but the glee quickly faded, replaced by clouds of suspicion. And I am to trust you, Pegasus. You who have tried to thwart me since you came here. Daring didn't even have time to fake the way she squirmed under Hans' scrutinizing gaze. This didn't work? Well, she had to think of something else. But hopefully it would work. Good point. But you've got me now. Maybe we could work out a kind of deal?
He even leaned close, trying to root out any signs of duplicity on his captive's faces. What kind of deal?
I teach you how to use the Medallions of Light and Shadow, and you get me back home,
Daredevil said flatly. The Jägermeister seemed to consider it for a moment. Finally, he nodded. Daredevil, I know you're only trying to escape, but have no illusions. I am complete control. You have no choice now. So, shall we put your words to the test? And when you have found that you are lying to me, I will make you regret it.
Good, I think. Second,
As Daring with a nervous grin. I am not a fool, the German hissed. Do not mistake me for one.
never entered my mind, lied Daring to. Anyway, take me and the Medallion to the Temple of Light. We'll have to start there.
Hans crossed his arms thoughtfully. What? Let him? Why?
Daring was equally uncompromising. Hey, who used this arm back before, you or me?
All right, I will make arrangements. But for all I do, if you try to double-cross me, it will be the last mistake of your life. With that, the Nazi guy stayed at the door, slanted behind him. That was step one, and it worked. Breathing a sigh of relief, Daring Do worked a bit more on her restraints. If she was lucky, she would be able to escape on the way to the temple. She just hoped that her captor didn't think of anything too effective to keep her grounded, or, for that matter, too humiliating, like
a leash,
Daring Do muttered to herself, glaring up at the impassive face of a brown-robed guard. Her tail switched angrily.
I can't believe he actually put me on a leash!
The mare felt her cheeks flushing as she was practically paraded in front of the combined force of the German soldiers and the local mercenaries, being tossed in the back of a truck with a half-dozen armed guards, for the long ride back to the Temple of Light had been bad enough. That she endured the entire thing hog-tied, with some of the Germans laughing at her plight, or scratching behind her ears that she was a dog, had made it worse. And now, the ultimate humiliation, a leash. At least her legs were free now. If she had picked her moment, she might even be able to escape before with a jerk on the leash, the local mercenary tugged Daring Do up the steps of the Temple of Light. The Pegasus glared at every pony she passed, till finally she was at the gates, black cloak flapping slightly in the early morning breeze. Jägermeister pushed open the doors himself, and waved the pony inside with false civility. After you, Fräulein. The entryway was just as Daring remembered it. Once to say, her mind recalled it, despite knowing intellectually that she had never been part of this temple. But there were differences. A few industrious spires had already started building cobwebs. The only illumination now was the post-dawn light of the sun streaming in through the door. As he watched, a few mercenaries brought in torches, lit them, and placed them in holders on the wall. The weak and flickering light of the torches cast strange shadows on the wall. Daring Do blinked and looked closer, squinting into the gloom of the recently abandoned Temple of Light. It felt almost inappropriate that a place so named was mostly dark, and more importantly, was it her imagination, or were some of the shadows moving of their own accord? In fact, that one almost looked like a Pegasus stallion. The insubstantial Pegasus approached, moving silently in a flowing robe. He approached the transfixed Daring Do, standing roughly in the center of the room. The apparition bowed low, furrowing his wings dramatically, like some sort of cape, so you could faintly hear the sound of hoofsteps and the whisk of a robe on the floor. Daring licked her lips, feeling her restraints even more acutely than before.
Hey, does anybody else see those shadows moving?
Jägermeister looked at the empty room, filled with only a steadily growing number of his men as they fled into the underray, shaking his head in disappointment. Really, Daring Do, I knew you were trying to escape, but trying to scare me and my men away with boogeymen? Certainly you are joking.
You can't see them?
Daring asked, as he looked up to see if the Nazi was joking, and stared. There, almost right next to her, was a nebulous, yet unmistakable form. She'd know that face anywhere, especially since it was the first human she had ever seen, the one whose appearance had started her on his latest adventure. Pegasus did a double take, but the apparition was still there. The form was indistinct, but there was no doubt in Daring's mind. That was Indiana Jones! My lord? Staring down at the cultist, Indiana felt his brain kick into overdrive. He masked. Oh, good. Rise, oh faithful one.
My lord,
Starfire said again, feeling even lower than straining his full diminutive height.
I must apologize. You see, at first, we mistook you for a simple demon from the spirit realm. We believed that the old ones would return to us. But I confess that after so long we had lost hope. And this despite favorable signs in conjunction with your blessed plane.
Indiana Jones remained silent, arms crossed and his face impassive. Pegasus' pony obviously wanted to talk, and that was better than being the cultist's pincushion. The archaeologist kept an eye on the half-circle, crossbow-wielding creatures. A starfire all but grovelled at his feet.
But now you are here, Lord, as it was prophesied. You've come back to us to decide who is worthy, and to take us with you to the spirit world.
Starfire was practically dancing, eyes shining with holy zeal. The obvious response came to his mind, and was out of Indiana's mouth before he could stop to him. You attacked your lord? I knew that stink was from you, Starfire. You saw on me in the inn, and the river. Some of the cultists looked nervous. Crossbows started to drift off target, or to drew towards the house room floor. Strangely, it was the near Oh, that is not a word. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That is a word. Learn something new every day, people. Near genuflecting starfire stood strong.
Mere test, my lord. Test a demon unless the spirit could not pass. We first suspected that you were more than a demon when you escaped us by fancy into thin air. It became even more closely when we could not find no trace of the thief daring do.
Uh-huh. Indiana used his free hand to surreptitiously tug on the door behind him. Probably wasn't going to be able to keep up this ruse much longer. If he could get back out the gates fast enough, they would have to come at him a few at a time. And hopefully, Silver Trowel and the big cats would be there to help, assuming they weren't in on all this.
Yes, we realized that you had delivered her to her fate worse than death in the spirit realm, doomed as an unbeliever to be tortured by demons for the rest of eternity. Truly a fitting punishment, my lord.
The beaming Pegasus said with an appreciative laugh.
And that was something only an old one would know how to do.
Indiana nodded tacitly. Right.
But yes, my lord, to our shame we tested you.
Spitfire drooped a bit, but recovered.
And yet, in all, you were victorious, putting to rest my doubts. Now you accuse us, the worthy.
Are you worthy? Dassy, the archaeologist, warming to the role of the Lord High Old One, or whatever the cultist thought he was. The door behind him wasn't buzzing, despite his quiet efforts to rest it open again. What was Indy's so-called allies so long to get the door open? Silver Trowel and those stupid cats weren't being attacked outside. They were next on his list of things to do after these cultists.
Yes, we kept your teachings, my lord. We have trained in the sacred arts. We have studied the Syrian scriptures. We have even retrieved the gate of souls from the unbelievers who took it from you. And we secured your chosen companion. He awaits you with the gate.
Starfire gestured towards the darkness of the hall. Indiana followed the pointed hoof and recognized the path to the Temple of Shadow's inner sanctum. What is in the inner sanctum? Indiana asked. Waiting for me? A pain expression crossed the Pegasus' face. There and gone as fast as lightning.
Yes, lord, but please. I have known this Flit for years. He is nothing. He may see his devotion as pure faith, but he's not clever enough to value your ways truly. There are others who would be perhaps better suited. So perhaps you could, sir.
Very good, sir, Indiana replied, keeping his voice harsh as he girded on the peeing cultist. He just found Starfire's lever. If he could approach this correctly. You think yourself more worthy, Pegasus?
Let me prove myself, my lord,
the pony begged, bowing again until his muscles scraped the floor. Glowering, Dr. Indiana, Lord of the Cultist Jones, let his supplicant debase himself a little longer. Finally, he broke the ominous silence. Perhaps you are worthy. Take me to Flint. We'll see. Actions speak louder than words.
Why, thank you, lord. Actions, lord? Yes, of course.
The Pegasus was nearly dancing for joy as he turned to the crossbow-wielding cultist. Indiana began to tug at the door in earnest. He said something wrong. You could tell by how excited the homicidal maniacs looked now. Starfire was thrilled.
Brothers! The old one calls us to action. Let us show them that we are worthy. Attack!
Damn it! Giving up on the tightly fastened gates, Indiana raised his pistols as the cultists eyed their old one. sizing him up cautiously as he's planning an assault to demonstrate his or her worth. The room seemed to swirl as the archaeologist's would-be worshippers circled him, casting strange shadows on the room and each other. For a moment, some of the shadows almost looked human, but Indiana had no time to watch the shadows. One of the cultists rushed forward. Indy leveled a revolver and fired. The griffin cultist cringed and looked down at his white feathered chest. There was no blood spot. He was entirely unharmed. And in front of Indiana's astonished eyes, a band-shaped shadow stumbled and slumped slowly to the ground. The shadowy form of Indiana Jones aimed his pistol and fired. Daring he jerked on her sleeve as his distant crack of gunshot made her jump. It was as though she could hear the report from a long ways away. With a strangled groan, Daring's brown-robed handler looked down. A dark stain was spreading on his chest, breath bubbling in his throat. The mercenary dropped the leash and collapsed. Every eye in the room was suddenly on the prostrate man and the spreading pool of blood. Every eye but Daring Dew's. Daring watched as the saint diamond dog reared up behind the unprepared Indiana. He was turning, but wouldn't be in time. The Pegasus led to the action, hose clattering as he accelerated and leaped. Indiana Jones grunted as a half-seen shape barreled into him, knocked him to the ground. A green-robed diamond dog howled in frustration. It doubled over his head, its intended strike thwarted by the human's sudden fall. As the near-transparent thing had tackled him, linked off Archaeologist's chest, Indy gasped in recognition. Daring? Dr. Jones had only seen his counterpart once, but recognized her instantly. Daring's transparent and blurry form wheeled, dodging out of the way. As if from a mile away, Indy could hear the sharp crack of a Mauser rifle. Indy raised his revolver and fired the silhouette of a Cold Skull helmet. Daring laughed in relief as the German attempting to gun her down cried out and pitched forward, helmet crying across the floor.
Thanks, Indy!
What was this? Screamed Jägermeister, wild blue eyes, staring around the temple entry confusing. What is happening? Indiana Jones's fist lashed out, catching a charging diamond dog across its sensitive nose. The creature whimpered, slowly back a few steps, and clenching at his bleeding muscle. The archaeologist grinned savagely. Who's next? The cultists closed in en masse now, all eager to prove themselves. Indiana grimaced, and the doors behind him exploded. Daring Do rolled out of the way, and the doors of Temple Light slowly tore themselves off their hinges, bowling over one soldier and mercenary alike. The heavy wooden gate slammed to the ground. Hans Jägermeister stumbled, barely missed being crushed like several of his compatriots. He screamed and fired a few rounds ineffectually into the doors, as if it was some sort of living creature. Cyril Trout smiled savagely, horns still glowing for the residual magic of his forcible entry. With eager yowls, his allies leaped into the dust clouds, snarling for blood. This was perfect. With Dr. Jones and the cultists already savaging each other, his entry into the fray would be just the thing to... The unicorn gaped. Unexpected, the tiger landed on one of the cultists, muzzle already dripping with blood as he roared, dropped the lifeless pony after giving it one last shake. The horse's killing machine turned and pounced again. Claws stretched out to slash at a diamond dog, who was desperately grabbing at a crossbow on the floor. The panther, however, collided with some invisible shape mid-air. Clinging to the unseen enemy, the big cat snarled and dug on its claws, holding on relentlessly at its impregnable foe to thrash. What sort of sorcery was this? Silver Trout glanced at Indiana Jones. The archaeologist was kneeling, knife out as he hawed the thin air. The unicorn shook his head, blinked several times. Had he gone mad, or had the world... I rated the Pegasus! Schnell! Do not let her escape! Jägermeister shouted. A soldier started forward, but collapsed as something invisible crashed into him from the side. Grinding his teeth in frustration, the Nazi agent started forward to follow his own orders. Daring Do thought she was going to leave Jans Jägermeister into a den of invisible monsters and get away. She was sorely mistaken. Daring's head jerked up in surprise as Indiana's shouting hands seized her. Her eyes widened when a near-transparent knife appeared in his hands, but the man relaxed as he felt the blade slice through her collar around her neck. The archaeologist's shade began working on the ropes around her wings. His voice at distance shout, Tyron! Head for the shrine! Got it! Daring to breathe once again, as the collar and the cords binding her wings snapped under the ethereal edge of Indiana's knife. Looking up to thank the human, she turned to move into a rapid roll as Jägermeister dove to grab her. Indiana Jones grunted and went sprawling as the lunging Nazi shadow bowled into him. The archaeologist slashed out with knife hand as he fell, slashing across the Jägermeister's chest and arm before the knife went skittering away across the roast stone floor. Before Indiana could deliver a more final blow, he was forced to react to more immediate threats. Bringing up his pistol, he fired at a swooping griffin. The creature squawked and dropped from the sky, its lifeless body crashing into the half scenes of a few Germans. Hans Jägermeister groaned, his head swimming with confusion and pain as he struggled to regain his footing. His skin burned as though a blade sliced through the fabric of skin, but no one had even come near him. He touched his hand to his chest. When it came away, it was wet with blood. The Nazi's gaze spun over the room, taking in the red tints chaos. A third Bible was trying desperately to rally his panicking soldiers, tumbled to the ground, shrieking in pain as its visible claws drove bloody streaks around his back. A mercenary flailed as if possessed, swinging his double-edged knife through the air to ward off the enemy he could not see. What was going on? Seeing her chance, daring to hurried forward and made a short jump, landing on the dead exterminate with all four hooves and slamming it back to the floor. Before he recovered, she nosed into a pocket on Jägermeister's coat and pulled out a small, cloth-wound hand bundle, quickly slipping it under her peat helmet for safekeeping. Darren gave the human a sharp kick for good measure and leapt skyward. She winced as the sharp pain shot through her abused wings, but managed a few flaps and a short glide to hurry down to the long corridor towards the temple's inner sanctum. Jägermeister pushed himself to see the mayor's flaring tail. He felt the pocket of his coat. She stole the Medallion of Light again! The German struggled to get up and waved to his men, hoping they would heed them despite the apparent collapse of sane reality. Jutta! Sei du nicht als Hungermann! Indiana faltering to his shade down the hallway. He moved as quickly as he could through the dark passage, feet moving in a complicated dance as he avoided pressure plates and tripwires. The archaeologist's breath caught in his throat as a pit trap suddenly opened in front of him. An indistinct shape plummeted into the spike-filled darkness with a scream that suddenly cut off. Indy winced and jumped over the trap as it closed again. A smattering of German soldiers and local mercenaries responded to the Nazi agent's command, sprinting forward to follow the fleeing mare. She wouldn't get far, just as Jägermeister started to smile. The brown-robed thug of the group in the head screamed and pitched forward, advancing through the solid rock of the floor. Other men stopped short. Hans felt himself start to hyperventilate. His gaze went to the reassuring shape of a submachine gun, a few steps away, in the blood-covered hands of a dying German soldier. With a slightly crazed smile, the Nazi agent hurried towards it, arm outstretched. Silver Trowel trotted into the carnage, holding his head high in an attempt to avoid the worst smell of the spilled blood and rent-open viscera. He smiled. The tiger snarled down at the struggling shape beneath its claws. The unicorn bent down. Hello there, Starfire. I'm here for your precious medallion. The red Pegasus spit out blood and tried to push himself up, but Big Cat's weight bore him back down to the floor. He hissed, Thief! Betrayer of the Old One! I will destroy you! I will prove myself worthy! Kill him, Trial directed. I will... Starfire's breathless tirade trailed off into an inarticulate gurgle. Tiger chewed thoughtfully, made a face as he swallowed. Rough flesh of mountain Pegasus could have used some more seasoning. Ew! Silver Trowel chuckled as he looked at the cultist's goofy-looking, quickly cooling corpse. Oh dear, what to think? Bunty Jones probably thinks you were her biggest enemy here. Everybody on three! 1, 2, 3! Ayhoon! Unicorn turned to the two large cats. Both seemed ready enough. Not that Trowel had any judge of finer points in the feline body language. He nodded to him. Let's go show Jones how long he is.